probably didn't notice, non-alcoholic drinks are looking a lot more boozy recently.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And they taste?
Tastes like an IPA.
That's exactly what we're going for.
That's because boozeless drinks aren't just for people who are sober.
I think a pretty high percentage of our customers are drinkers. I'd guess about 75%. And I think that's where the real growth of the category is.
These drinks are also for people who, often for reasons aside from addiction, want to take a break from alcohol.
Like, you might feel differently in the summer than you do in the winter, on a Saturday than you do on a Tuesday.
Try January,
There
for
we
example.
go, you know? And that's all okay.
This group even has a hashtagable name, Sober Curious. Statistics show younger people want to drink less. And according to a 2018 World Health Organization report, the percentage of drinkers has decreased almost 5% worldwide since 2000. What's new are the businesses looking to capture this sober curious market. And that's what we went to learn more about.
Here in downtown Manhattan, there's a bar on just about every corner, and the streets in between. But tonight, there's a new kind of bar, one that's open only once a month. It's called Listen Bar, and it's all non-alcoholic.
Listen Bar founder Lorelei Vendrovsky first tested the concept in 2018. Now she's raising money to make it a permanent space. But it all started from a dare.
5 years ago, one of my friends dared me to take a month off of drinking. Gradually, it became my preferred way to go out.
But she says this can be an isolating experience. Listen Bar is her answer to that, and one that others are ready to pay for. The night I went, the bar was packed.
So far, the narrative around not drinking has been kind of this punishment, restriction, and right now I think people are finding a lot of empowerment in it.
They're finding new options on the menu too, like beers from Athletic Brewing, the first non-alcoholic brewery and taproom in the country. Bill SHUFELT and co-founder John Walker opened this space 8 months ago, but it started with SHUFELT re-examining his relationship to alcohol.
I had a great job in finance my previous life. I was just turning 30 years old. I was getting healthier. And alcohol didn't really fit in any element of my life.
So he cut back and eventually left alcohol behind, but not the bar.
I started to think, why can't there be a good non-alcoholic craft beer?
That led him here, where he and Walker began testing recipes in these water jugs.
What was the first brew like? Do you remember what it tasted like?
For sure, and I had a much lower bar of acceptance. It took about 30 batches until John was like, okay, we're looking at real craft beer here.
Now their beer lineup is what you might expect from a typical craft brewery.
Walking around, we've got a tank of IPA here. That's 40 barrels of IPA. This is our Cerveza Atletica, our Mexican lager. It's our summer seasonal. And then we have a big batch of golden ale in this tank here.
And he says they're canning anywhere from 500 to 1,000 cases of beer a day. Athletic distributes to bars and grocery stores, including Whole Foods, and sells online.
What has your growth been like since you started serving beer to people, shipping beer to people?
We thought we had built the brewery for 5 years. We just doubled our footprint and tank space about a month ago, and we're already behind. You like to try beer?
The interest in athletics beers hasn't surprised SHUFELT, though. He says he'll often tell people, just try a sip.
Do people have the reaction I had where they're a little surprised to taste it for the first time?
For sure. People are definitely super skeptical, and then immediately after they taste it, you see the light bulb go on.
Richie CROWLEY was interested before his first taste. He's an athlete, currently biking his way across the US. Athletic was one of his first stops.
As someone who's sober, it was really exciting when I was like, oh, there's a non-alcoholic brewery.
And why did you decide to go sober?
There's like a lot of different reasons, from health to just social, then like the physical health, mental health, but I didn't want to compromise my dreams, compromise my goals anymore.
How does this beer taste compared to beer that you had before you went sober?
Man, you can't taste the difference.
But outside of the beer world, feeling is as important as taste. At least for Kin, a company that makes EUPHORICS, essentially non-alcoholic spirits with a wellness twist. I met Jen Batchelor, the company's founder, at Kin's office in Brooklyn.
Just before we even start making the drink, can you just tell me, what are EUPHORICS?
Yes, in its simplest form, EUPHORICS are a new category of adult beverage that's intended to bring more connective moments at the bar. And they're made of nootropics, adaptogenic herbs, and functional botanics.
This combination of ingredients was crafted to make you feel something. Not drunk, of course. Batchelor described it as a feeling of lightness, but still a sense of presence.
What does it meant to taste like? Is it meant to, am I taking my vitamins or am I drinking a cocktail?
No, it's meant to taste like a spirit that you might have out at your favorite bar.
The company launched its first euphoric last year, called High Road. It's similar to a spirit, and she says it's selling well.
So this is like essentially me drinking a shot of vodka or a shot of
straight.
All right, so let's give it a shot.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
It does have that bitterness that feels very much like Aperol. That makes me feel like I'm drinking an adult beverage.
Yes.
While my kin experience didn't leave me feeling different physically or mentally, the cocktail Bachelor made me was mature, like something you'd expect on a bar menu. And it is, in New York and LA. For Kin and Athletic, it's about giving people drinks that can help break the stigma around choosing a non-alcoholic option at the bar.
I think there's still quite a bit of that resentment of somebody saying, I'm not drinking tonight. And they're like, oh, why, man? That stigma will still persist until we're all comfortable and we all feel like there is an elevated option to replace that.
Listen Bar's founder, who still drinks on occasion, said her thinking has totally changed.
I started out as a skeptic, and here I am running a business now that is centered around the thing that initially I rejected.
Is it a trend?
Yes, it is a trend, and it's bigger than a trend. This is something that people have been hungering for a long time, and finally there's something to point to. You know, there's a phrase, there's some places.
To be fair, sobriety existed before sober curiosity, and all three founders said their offerings are made for those people too, though they recognize drinks like these can be triggering for some, so it's really up to the person.
It's a spectrum of sobriety, you know, and I think that there is very much still traditional sobriety as part of it. The point is not that, you know, now it's trendy to be sober. The point is that now more people are aware that there is a spectrum.